So I thought I'd do this little video on our Rover 75 1.8 Connoisseur SE, the maroon one. And what we want to do is, well, you normally bleed the air out of the brakes, but we don't know how old the brake fluid is on this, so we want to actually change the brake fluid, but it's the same process. So we're going to be doing it on the backs and the fronts. The master cylinder is under here, so I'll just remove that first. That's a series of clips, and that comes away to relieve the reservoir for your brake fluid master cylinder. So we'll be opening that up. Right, so that's open. The good thing is it is to a good level, which we'd always keep a check on as well. And you've actually got quite a nice little filter in there. As I say, we want to change the brake fluid in this because we don't know how long it's been in there. We use the normal .4, and what we do actually is we buy it in like a bulk bottle and then fill up past bottles. So one, you're not trying to pour it out of a big bottle, and you're not sort of contaminating that by keep opening it up as well. If I just come back across here, we're going to be doing it the old-fashioned way, and there's lots of devices where you can put like a special lid on here, the tube that runs to a separate reservoir, and then you pump it up, and that means you can get the air out of the brakes without two people. We find them useful but never as effective as doing it what we call the old-fashioned way, which is where you have one person pumping the brakes while the other person opens up the little bleed nipple, lets the fluid and the air come out, or in this case lets the old fluid come out so new fluid can be being poured in there. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the automatic bleeding kits, but we find you never quite get as good a brake, and by the time you fiddled about with that, if there's two of you, you might as well do it this sort of old-fashioned way. So hopefully we'll show you how to do that and where all the bleed nipples are and the process we use. The first thing we've got to do is top that with a little bit extra, and then all you do is just keep an eye on it. Each time you move on to the next brake, you top it up, or if you think a lot's come out, you just stop the process and check it and pour a little bit more. And we've got a bit of brake fluid there. We'll put some cloth around there, because the last thing you want to do is spill any of this on the paint. And every time you fill it up, always put the lid back on, because one, if you knock this over, it would be a disaster, and secondly, you don't want the air getting into this too long either. Right, so at the back of the car, what you want to do is start the furthest away from the master cylinder. We're just going to show you one on the back and one on the front, although we are doing both sides. And what we use is a jar, an old jar. We put a hole in the lid and we put a brake, well, a plastic tube through, and on the end of it is a little one-way valve, and we have some old brake fluid in there. That's so no air can be sucked up. And then if you come round here on the back, the bleed nipple is there. I'll try and give you a back shot so you can roughly see it on that back caliper, and again it's got a special end that goes over the bleed nipple and seals it. And then what will happen is we will undo that so that the fluid and air can come out, and I will go in the car and pump the brakes till we see cleaner fluid and no air if you're removing the air. So I'm going to leave the camera here and hopefully you'll see this side of it first. You ready?
Yeah.
It's quite stiff to put.
Is it?
Keep going.
Yeah, go on.
That's 3.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
6.
Right, go and check your level. But it's going down, the pedal.
The pedal's going to the floor.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't need to have it wide open. How much has gone down?
Yes, it's gone down the neck.
Yeah.
So if I top it back up.
Let's open that a bit more. Right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, go on.
That's 3.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
6. Right, so hopefully in that last clip you see the brake fluid coming through. It's a job to capture everything, but hopefully you see it. So now what I thought I'd do is show you what we're doing in the car. So I kept my foot on the pedal, then we tightened up the nipple. I've come round and got the camera, and now we've loosened it, and I'll do some more pumps again, finishing with my foot pushed down to the floor, and then we'll tighten it back up. So we'll do a series of pumps again. As you'll see, the pedal will go all the way to the floor while we're doing this, whereas normally it would come nowhere near that. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah. Check the level again.
8. Right, so there we've done a few pumps. I'm just going to have a little look in and check the level. This little filtered grid does come out. You're not going to be able to see down it, but you can see down there, see what your level is, and if it's looking slightly low, just top it up. And it's a case of keep doing that after a few pumps. We've probably done 9 or 10 pumps, then we'll give it a check. Yeah, it sounds like more's coming out.
Right, hold it down.
And it's down.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I'm now holding it down while we then re-tighten up that bleed nipple. You might have been able to hear the fluid coming out, but basically you're pumping it through, in our case, to get the old fluid out, but also if there's any air in the system after doing work, you'd be looking for it to not have any air bubbles in that tube and look nice and clear. So I'll hold my foot down while we do that up. So we're now going to go the other side and again connect up our little brake bleeding kit we've made and get that loose. It'll be the same process as I've just shown you, so I'll show you the front for the next process. Right, so I just thought I'd show you just to make sure we've got a good view of it. That there, if I just focus right in and up, is where the bleed nipple is on the calipers at the back, and you can just see there's a little bit of fluid there where when you take the tube off, some does run out, but the idea is you don't get lots coming out by doing it this method. It all goes into your jar, and if you're lucky there'd be a little rubber protector on that brake bleeding nipple as well, which there was one side but not on this side, so if we've got a spare one we'll put it on. Right, so we've just done both back brakes now, so we'll just check the pedal doesn't go all the way down to the floor again, and it's giving us a brake that we're looking for. Then we'll move to the front. Right, so I just thought I'd show you this. That's the jar, and if you remember, we had a little bit in there just to stop it sucking any air up, so we did it to it run clear, and you can see that it's pretty dirty, although the bit in the bottom wasn't exactly clean. What came out wasn't that clean either, so it shows us it definitely was worth doing. You should never reuse this brake fluid, or you can't, it'd be dangerous to. You certainly should never use it, so all we do is then dispose of that to get rid of later, and we normally put it in one of these cans till it's time to empty it in a suitable place. And then, as you can see, we just leave a little bit in the bottom of the jar again to do the front. And we always leave a little bit in that jar so it's all ready for when we next want to bleed any brakes or change the fluid, get that air out. Right, so we're now on the passenger side at the front, because the nearest is the driver's side, and we're slowly working our way to the shortest path to the master cylinder. Again, we've got our little jar connected up with the tube to the brake bleeding nipple, which is near the top of the wheel. Now I'll show you a little better shot of that in just a minute, and again we'll be pumping out some of that old fluid. Right, ready?
Yeah.
Well, that's nice and easy.
Yeah, I've worked it right out this one. Thank you.
So that's about 10, 11.
That'll do, yeah, check your thing there.
And then again.
Yeah, give it another half a dozen and then hold it down.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right, hold it down.
Hold it down.
Hang on, no, don't let it up yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel? I'm going to pump it up first.
And again, as we've been pumping some of that fluid through on the front, we're just going to top it up again just to make sure it's not getting low, because again that would be disastrous, because if it run out of fluid you'd then be sucking air from this end. So you want to make sure you're well topped up. And again, we're putting the lid back on each time so this can't get knocked over and air can't get in there. And of course, as I said, we've got all the tissue around there in case we did spill any. Right, so I just thought I'd show you why the bit of tubing's not connected up. On the front there is the brake bleeding nipple. That's got a nice little plastic cover on it there that's holding that thin wire. So if I just come back, you can roughly see where that is on the top of the caliper. And I don't really show, that's, will come out here, that's the brake spanner that we've been using, and it's normally about a turn to loosen it so that fluid can come out. So I just want to cover that as well there. Right, so that's a better view of the brake bleeding nipple there on the front caliper. Again, we've got our jar connected. This is on the driver's side, so this is the last one we're going to do. Not ready?
Yeah. Right, better check the level again. Yeah, check your level.
Another 10?
Yeah. Oh no, 8 and hold it down.
And so again, once inside, we give it another second few pumps and then hold the pedal down while we tighten up the bleed nipple for the final time on the driver's side caliper. So that's 6, 7, and I've held it down.
Okay, let it up.
And released. Right, do you want me to try the brakes?
Yeah.
Right, so now we've done all 4 calipers at the back and the front. We're just going to once again just check we've got a brake pedal and it is holding the wheels. Right, on.
Off.
Off.
On again.
On.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Off. And as you can see now, the pedal's not going all the way to the floor. It's normal for the engine not running. Right, so hopefully that's been a little helpful video on how to change the brake fluid on a Rover 75, or if you need to get the air out after doing a job. As always, they're not a how-to video, but just a video showing you how we do the process. And obviously, if you want to know more, especially about dealing with brake fluid, then it is worth doing more research. And of course, having the manuals to hand as well. As always, we use the Haynes manual and the Rover X part disc. All we need to do now is to just put back the little cover over the brake fluid reservoir, which I'll get back properly when I've got both hands to hand. As always, thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to look through any of the other videos we do and subscribe and like if you found it helpful.